Hey everyone, this is Neil's Nomenclature, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at how I implemented a VueJS component into the mockup resume I created last week using CSS and HTML. Now, VueJS is a JavaScript framework that allows for easy implementation of UIs and front-end applications. And over the past couple of years, it has increasingly become more popular among developers and companies. The reason for this rise in popularity is mainly due to how fast and lightweight it is, along with requiring a lot less of a learning curve, like a lot of other JavaScript frameworks like React. So here we have my Vue.js component. So here we have my script tag, which essentially just points to my Vue.js framework. So I actually pulled up the definition because I didn't really know what it did. So um, the script tag is used to embed a client-side script, so JavaScript. So it just essentially tells the HTML what kind of JavaScript I want to be using. So here we have where I implemented or instantiated my Vue.js component. I'll just kind of run down these really quick. So my element, this EL stands for element, and this content wrapper is basically how I access all the information within my Vue.js. So for instance, here I have a div that has the ID content wrapper, which just says, hey, whatever is encapsulated inside this div, I want to access information from that Vue.js component. And in my case, I want to access the information from that component throughout my entire resume. So I just put the div at the end. I just made it all accessible everywhere. And you can see here that I have a bunch of different variable names. So I have my name, description, skills, skill set. These are normally just typed in directly into the HTML document or HTML code. As you can see, I have 3 list elements here that it just looks clunky, and the reason for Vue.js is to kind of compress this and make it a little bit simpler to use. Another thing is if you're going to be using these variables more than once, this is going to help a lot if you use Vue.js, just because if I have name here, but I can also use name anywhere else. It doesn't have to just be right there. So if I wanted to make myself a contact, I could just put name here, and then it should just pop up. Yep. Instead of my phone number, I am now a contact. So I'll just put some random numbers there just for the time being. So yeah, I mean, just a couple things to go over with using Vue.js that I found a little bit difficult was the separator is going to be the comma, and then if you ever want to make it into a list or something like that, you're going to be using these brackets, and you can access these from anywhere, but lists are a little bit more complicated. So here you can see I have those 3 separate elements just all displaying information, but here from my experience list, I have list ID. So since it's encapsulated in that wrapper tag, I can access the information, and then I have my experience list as my ID. And then v-for allows for the JavaScript to be rendered on the HTML page, and then counter is just a dummy variable, so it just allows for it to be rendered and displayed on the page, because without it, then nothing is going to show up and you're going to be a sad camper. So yeah, I mean, Vue.js, honestly, the hardest part for me was downloading it. You can download it. I have a link in my blog post, which I'll put in the description. And there's 2 versions of it. I was trying to download the client version, which doesn't come with errors and is a little bit harder to use, which allows you to, it forces you to use the command line. But here I'm using the development version, and it's pretty seamless to implement. But yeah, I found it very, very useful to use these variable names rather than having to type everything out. And if I ever need to use them in the future, I will have that option. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.